Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, some people can hear me and some people can't hear me. So I'm not sure what is happening, but I would say make sure that you turn your volume up all the way. I'm going to project as best I can. And I mean, my microphone is on. Sometimes I turn it off accidentally, but it is on. I've got my little green light. I've got my microphone as close to my mouth as I can. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go for it. Low back, hips, and balance. That's what I've got for you today. Okay, so let's get on our pillows or our blankets. Prop our hips up a little bit, let your knees drop down, and then lengthen up through the crown of the head. So we're going to find our long spine, our broad shoulders, open chest, open heart, and relax our arms and shoulders away from our ears. Nice and heavy, resting on our knees, lap, or resting on the floor next to you. Closing the eyes. If you're comfortable with your eyes closed, beginning to breathe. Deep breaths in, long breaths out. So everything else that's a distraction for you this morning, we're going to try to let go of that as we exhale. So the exhale becomes a productive exhalation. One that allows us to let go physically, emotionally, mentally. Connect to our practice. Feel yourself sitting on your mat. Each breath in is deeper than the one before. Each breath out is longer than the one before. And then let's create an intention for our practice today. We'll breathe that in, we'll let that go. Let's all bring the fingertips to the floor next to us, and we'll inhale, reach our arms up and overhead. And exhale, floating back down again. And we'll do that again, inhaling and reaching up. And exhaling and letting the fingers touch down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach. And exhale, floating the arms back down again. We'll leave the right hand where it is, float the left arm back up, inhaling and exhale. Let's come to that first lateral bend, reach out, and then let's reach up and float the arm back down. Let's leave the left hand where it is, right arm, inhale it up, and exhale, and stretch. And then back up. Let's float the arm down. Let's bring the hands to the knees. Take a breath. Exhale, we'll round it back. So getting some of our directions of the spine right away as we move into this forward bend and back bend, cat-cow seated. Inhaling as we move into the back bend, exhaling as we round into the forward bend. Let's do a couple more, 2 more breaths. And then let's come to our hands and knees. Hands a little bit forward of shoulders. Let's do a big up, down, and around. And we will welcome our hips into our practice today. Up, down, and around. And then let's circle the other way. Then we'll come back to the middle, tuck the toes under, and just press back into your feet. So hips come back to feet. We'll take that stretch for our feet and our toes. Breathing in, breathing out. Enjoy that stretch. That's a nice one. And then let's rock forward again. And let's extend the right leg and press back into the calf, so we'll make the stretch a little bit stronger. And then to the left side we go. Stretching out the left leg, tuck the toes, deepen the stretch. Breathe in, breathe out. We'll pull the left knee underneath. Let's tuck toes again, and we're going to sit back into a squat. So even deeper into the calves and into the feet, back into the hips, into the low back. We'll take another breath. And then let's lift up the hips and let the head drop down. So you're letting your head hang. I've got my belly resting on my thighs. I've got my knees a little bit bent. I'm going to let my arms and shoulders be heavy. Head is heavy. So we're hanging in the forward fold, saying hello to our hamstrings. It's a nice time to look at your feet. Line them up to hip distance and parallel. We'll breathe one more nice breath into our hamstrings and the back of our thighs. And then bend your knees a little bit more, lengthen your spine, and let's unhinge and stand up. Here we are. Let's bring our hands to the heart and inhale. Let's reach it up. Ooh, exhale, hinge again. Here we go, diving off the cliff. Let your head hang, look back between your legs. Come part way up, breathing, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold it over. Inhale and reach. And exhale your hands to your heart. Again, inhale. Big arms, get wide. Feel yourself expanding. Part way up, breathing. And fold it over. Here we go, all the way up. And exhale your hands to your heart. Again. Big arms. Take your time, like you have nothing else to do but a half sun salutation. Feel each part of this as we move through it, coordinating with the breath part way up. Inhale, exhale, fold it. Inhale. And exhale your hands to your heart. Now stand still, close your eyes, soften up your knees. Feel the energy moving through your body. Let's release the arms, shift to the right foot. Let's bring the left thigh to a parallel position with the floor. We'll bring the arms up and overhead, and if you want to stay here, stay here. If you want to join me, flapping, trying to take off like a flamingo here from one leg. Here we go. Finding your gaze point, letting that be what helps you concentrate. Breathing, one more breath, and letting go. We'll land on two legs. And then let's shift to the left foot. We'll let the right thigh float up. If you need to keep your toe on the floor, you need to touch down every now and then, feel free to do that. Arms are going to start here. Maybe they'll stay here, or here we go. Taking off. Breathing. Calm, cool, and collected, standing on one leg. Woo! You lose it like that, you come back in. Let's take another breath. And down we go. Let's do our balancing half moon pose. I like to use a block for this posture. You could use a chair, or you could use nothing at all. You could also put your back against a wall if you happen to have a free wall. Free walls are hard to come by, I know. We're going to start by going to the right, so the right foot is going to point towards the right short edge of your mat. I like to come into this pretty slowly because I like to concentrate on what I'm doing. So I'm going to start to reach for my block, or like I said, your chair or your couch or your bed or wherever you are. And this block is going to end up underneath my shoulder, so I can move it around. I also find that it's helpful to put it a little bit off center from where my foot is pointing, so I have more of a tripod of support, not everything in one straight line. So here I go. I'm going to start to lift up my left leg. The block is under my shoulder. Lastly, I'm going to begin to rotate so that my shoulders stack, and I can let my arm be an extension of my left shoulder. Either gaze out or up. I like to flex my lifted foot here to keep my leg active and engaged. You can soften up your right knee. Let's take a breath. And then we'll touch down and stand up. Woo! Exhale. That's hard. This is a hard posture, especially if you're standing in the middle of the room. And if your hand is all the way on the floor, it's even harder. Let's turn the left foot out. Whatever you're holding on to, your block, your chair, your bed, your couch is now on your left side. Or like I said, your hand can come all the way to the floor. Let's start to lift up the right leg, flex the foot, rotate the torso, stack the shoulders. Here we go. Breathe. And then let's touch down and stand up. And then let's wiggle, because I feel like we need to wiggle now. Wiggle, 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 shake, shake, shake. Pretend you're listening to your favorite song and no one can see you. Okay, we got that out of our system, I hope. Woo! Let's not be so hard on ourselves this time. We're going to do one more balancing posture. Let's do tree pose. So we'll stand on the right foot, come to the left big toe, turn your leg out, and decide where that leg goes. Point your toes to the floor. What kind of branches are you sprouting today? Relax your shoulders, find your gaze point, and let's breathe. Let's breathe. And be strong and resilient like a tree. Flexible and flowing. grounded, strong and rooted. And then we'll release. All right, balancing half moon makes tree pose feel like a piece of cake, doesn't it? All right, we're going to stand on the left foot, externally rotate the right leg. What's your tree look like on this side? Breathing. And then let's release. Let's take a wide step. Let's turn our toes out, arms out. Five-pointed star. Let's take a breath and exhale into goddess pose. Here we are, strong like a goddess. Let's come out. Five-pointed star and back in. Exhale. Strong like a goddess. Your knees are coming out over your feet here. Inhale and exhale. Let's hold this one. Let's come up to the balls of our feet. Challenge ourselves. Strong, strong, strong. Strong hips, strong legs. Breathe. Take another breath. And exhale your heels to the floor. Let's straighten our legs, relax our arms, turn our toes forward, and hinge from our hip creases into our forward fold. So let's stay in this forward fold with our knees a little bit soft and our arms straight. You might be using a block here. I like to use a block in this position. Feel the four corners of your feet. Make sure they're all pressing into the earth. Lengthen your spine from tail to crown. Leave your left hand on the block. Take a breath. And as we exhale, the right arm is going to lift up and overhead. Stack your shoulders. Look up. Breathe. So wide-legged forward fold with a rotation. That's what we're doing now. Right into the inner thigh we go. And then let's release the stretch. We're going to move the block temporarily over towards the right foot. Bend the right knee, knee over ankle. All I could see is my big toe, and lengthen the left leg. So we might as well stay with the inner thighs, part of our hips. We're going to stay there for a couple more breaths, intensifying the stretch. And then let's come back to the middle. So we're back to our original position, lengthening the spine from tail to crown. Soft knees, feel the four corners of your feet. Leave your right hand on the block. And let's rotate around that nice long spine and look up. If you can, if you can't look out, if you can't look up, look out or look down. Be comfortable. We're not forcing anything here. We're flowing. Breathe in, out, and then unwind on an inhalation. Let's slide the block over towards the left foot. Bend the left knee. You might have to shift some weight towards your heel a little bit more to keep your knee over your foot. We're straightening the right leg now. And then let's come back to the center. Let's walk our feet together, heel toe, heel toe. We're going to get rid of the block if you're using one and walk into down dog. I hate to skip a day of down dog. Let's do a little walking here. Soften that space between your shoulders. So if you're tightening up there, get a little softer. And then let's come down on our knees. We're going to sit back in Vajrasana. So there's some groaning. I could hear the groaning, even though you're muted. So I'm going to give you some options. So when someone says hips to me, that means all around the hip joint, right? So we've been in the hamstrings, we've been in the inner thighs, we'll get to the outer thighs, but I'd like to get to the quads now. So if you're happy in this position, thunderbolt pose, great. If you think you can move to this position, hero pose, with your heels on the outside of your hips, super. So you know who you are. Some of you are very comfortable here and you're going to lean back on your hands, or maybe your forearms, or maybe you're going to come all the way back and you're going to have a nice stretch for your quads. For those of you who are suffering, extend the left leg like this, keep the knee bent, put a lot of space between your legs, and try to sit with your heel outside your hip. If that's really hard for you, sitting on a block, sitting on a pillow, sitting on a blanket might make it easier. And you're also going to start to come back until you get a nice stretch in your quad. For those of you who still continue to suffer, come down on your left elbow and pull your right leg behind you. And that will be where you take this stretch. For those of you who are here, you're going to hold here and stay here the whole time we're here. For those of you who are doing half, one leg at a time, I'll tell you when to switch legs. All right, let's take another breath on this side. So those of you who look like me right now, or who look like this, are going to go to the other side. Those of you who have both legs underneath you or outside, hang out if you're comfortable there, or change your position if you're not. So we're either going to be here, the one-legged variety, or here, the reclined one-legged variety. There's so many different ways to find what we need in our practice. Let's breathe. Let's enjoy the stretch in our giant quadricep muscles, hard-working things. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's take another breath. Let's take another breath, because we were on the other side for a long time. And blow it out. And then wherever you're seated, find your way back to here, with your left leg in front of your right leg. Let's fold it over. Land where you land. Be where you are. Soften into the forward fold. Release any holding that you're doing. And then we're going to come up from there. Change the way your legs are crossed. And move into the other hip by folding over the legs. Relax your shoulders, your neck, your face. And then instead of coming up, we're going to come forward. So land on your forearms with your big toes together. Your hips might be back here. They might be here. The knees are wide. We're doing frog pose. You might be on your forearms. I like to stay on my forearms, but I know some people like to come all the way down. That's fine. Maybe forehead on the floor. Maybe you'd rather stay on your hands. Find a place that you can kind of sink into and soften, where you can breathe and soften your shoulders and your neck and your face. And then we'll all sit back on our heels, come to your hands, and pull your knees together. From here, let's come to our stomach and relax. Turn your head to one side and soften your whole body for a little interlude of relaxation. Let's change the position of our hands. We're going to bring our hands right beside us with the palms down. Whenever we're about to do a back bend, I am always thinking about lengthening, getting as long as I can on the floor, because I know I'm going to lose some space in my low back pretty soon. So I don't want to feel like I'm all scrunched up here. I want to feel long as I can. I want my neck to feel long. Let's look down. Shoulders, because our palms are down, our shoulders are automatically going to roll back. If you turned your palms up, your shoulders have the freedom to move forward. We don't want that. We want them to move a little bit away from the floor. So we have our mountain alignment as best we can. And then let's lift up both of our feet. So strengthening the whole backside of our body, especially from the low back down through the legs. If you want to have a little more tension in your upper back, lift up your arms. And then we'll breathe. Breathing through tough situations. This would be a tough situation, I think. Building heat in the body takes lots of energy to try to get yourself off the ground, off the earth. Let's take a couple more breaths. And then we're going to lower down. Take your time. Feel each part of your body relax. Turn your head to one side. Turn your palms up. Let your shoulders melt down and relax. If you want to do a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle through your hips, do that. Soften your back, soften your hips. And then we'll get quiet. Slide your hands closer to your shoulders and let's push ourselves up. We're going to wiggle our hips or rock our hips over to the left. Look over your right shoulder at your feet. Inhale through the middle and exhale the other direction. So now we're going down the outside of the leg a little bit. Side to side, rocking with the breath. Soften the space between your shoulders so you're not adding tension to your body. And then let's come back up and have a seat. All right, we can squeeze one more balancing posture in here. So let's do boat pose. Let's do boat pose with our hands on the floor. We're going to bend our knees. We can change that if we want to. Let's turn our hands in and lift up our feet. So here we are in our simplest form of boat pose. The straighter your legs, the more challenging this becomes. We might take our hands off the floor and hold on. We might let go. So you decide where you want to be. You could change your mind. You can try stuff. You can try moving around. Soften your shoulders. Breathe. And then let's let go. Let's come to our backs. So we're going to come all the way down. When you get to your back, take a moment to reset, to relax, to wiggle around if you need to get comfortable. And then let's put our hands down beside us, palms down, not close, not to T, but somewhere in between. And let's lift up our feet and start to circle our knees. So whenever someone says low back, I always think about the core of the body, front and back, and strengthening the support for the spine. And then we'll circle the other way. And then let's put our feet down. Cross your right leg over your left leg. Pick up your left foot and take hold of your ankles. So this is, I think, one of the best postures for getting to the outer edge of the hip here and the leg, the IT band. So hold your ankles if you can. If you can't, hold your knees. If you can't do that, you can use your strap and pull both knees in towards your chest. This is when I then look through the rest of my body and notice who's working too hard. And in this case, it's my shoulders. So I'm going to let them go and just let the weight of my arms and the grasp I have on my ankles do all the work. Let's release, but let's keep our legs crossed. We'll put the left foot on the floor. If you can keep your legs crossed, keep them crossed. Arms are going to slide out to T, and we'll let the knees drop to the left. And then turn your head and look over your right arm. This is when we can get some nice, productive breaths into our body. Take those deep breaths. We'll bring the knees through the middle, still crossed, and over to the right. We didn't spend much time in our hip flexors today, so here they are, front of the hip. Let's unwind, let's uncross, let's straighten our pelvis and cross the other way. So left crosses right, We're going to pick the right foot up, take hold of your ankles if you can get them. Plan B is to hold onto your knees. Plan C is to take your strap and wrap it around your legs. And then relax your shoulders, neck, and face. Now let's let go of this stretch. Put your right foot back on the floor. Keep your legs crossed if you can. And we'll release the knees to the right, arms to T. Turn your head to look to the left. Let's bring the knees through the middle and over just for a few breaths to the left. And then back to the middle they go. Uncross the legs. Let's straighten the pelvis and pull both knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around. Give yourself a rock. A shoulder to shoulder rock. And then an elbow to elbow rock. So you have to work a little harder to get yourself back into the middle. If you roll almost all the way over to fetal position, you'll have to use your abdominals to get yourself back to the center. Let's come back to the center and let's straighten out our legs. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left. Bring your hands down beside you, palms down, and let's begin to rock our hips. So one hip lifts and then the other. Back and forth into our abdominals again. And then let's release, uncross your ankles, cross them the other way. And let's do a little rock. And then back to the center we come. Let's uncross the legs, and while they're straight, let's do our moon pose. So we'll walk both feet over to the right edge of your mat. My hips are flat on the floor. Slide your shoulders to the right side of your mat. Your shoulders are flat on the floor. Let's lift up the left arm, and let's take the right hand and grab the left wrist with it. Woo! Big stretch, left side. Finding all the space we can in the left rib cage, the left waist, and here we go down the side of the leg again. If you feel like you want a more intense stretch down the outside of your leg, put your left ankle on top of your right ankle and see if that gives you a bigger stretch. Now let's let go of the wrist. If your legs are crossed, uncross them and let's slide the other way. So to the left we go. Hips are flat, shoulders are flat, but we are making this beautiful shape of the crescent moon on the floor. Take hold of your right wrist with your left hand if you want. Cross your right ankle over your left ankle if you want. And breathe. Let's release the wrist. Let's uncross the ankle. Let's find our way back to the center of our mat. We're going to bring our hands down beside us and bend our knees again. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Let your feet come underneath your knees, and let's inhale into bridge. And we're going to hold bridge up. So think about lifting your hips, and if you want to try lifting up your right leg and coming to a one-legged bridge pose, then try. If you don't want to try, it's okay. And then we're going to put the right leg down, and we're going to lift up the left leg. And breathe. And we'll put the left foot down. Rise up a little higher. Breathe in, breathe out. Enjoy the strength of your back and hips. Take another breath. And exhale all the way to the floor. Little by little we go. And then let's pick our feet up and take hold of them. Oh, happy baby. That's a nice place to land. Little rocking. Nice little stretch. You don't have to rock. Remember, all these things are just optional things that might add a pleasing component to your posture, or they might not. So you decide what's best for you. Remember, you can always use your strap here. Just over your feet it goes if your arms aren't long enough to get your feet. And then let's bring the soles of the feet together and let them drop to the floor. With the knees wide, here's our chance to get into our hip flexors. This is uncomfortable. Something goes underneath your knee. That'll allow you to relax a little bit more through the hip flexors. Arms are in any position that makes you happy. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then let's draw the knees together. We'll pull them into our chest. Give yourself a hug. Rock if you'd like. And then let's lift up our legs, and we'll take our legs up the wall. Maybe for real, maybe your imaginary wall. Stacking joint upon joint and letting your hips rest heavily on the earth. Feel grounded through the sacrum, which is right in between the 2 ilium of the pelvis. That little heart-shaped bone there. Soften into that. Soften your low back. Feel the space that we can create in this position in the low back. Again, your arms can really be anywhere that's pleasing to you.
Soften your shoulders on the floor, let them be wide and heavy. Feel the breath flowing through your belly. Let's allow ourselves 2 more breaths here. Pay attention to the breath. Feel it flowing in. Feel it flowing out. And then we'll bend one knee and put that foot down. Bend the other knee, put that foot down. If there's anything else that will make your practice complete today, find that now. Otherwise, we're moving to relaxation and sinking in. And sinking in and sinking in. Allow every little bit of tension that you can to leave your body. Every little thought that tries to find its way back in, kick it right out. Soften your heart. Let go of something you're holding. Allow yourself the gift of the present moment.
let's begin to deepen the breath. Once again, draw it all the way down into your belly. Feel your belly rising and falling. Let's let our fingers and toes move. We'll let our head turn from side to side. And then bending one knee and then the other. We'll roll to the right side and come into fetal position. And just take a moment here to feel gratitude for all the good things in your life, all the joy, all the people, all the creatures you love, for your body, for your breath, and for your practice. And then when you're ready, pushing yourself up, we'll come into a comfortable seated position. And let's bring our hands together over the heart as we find our way back to the breath. Feel it moving through your body. Remember that that's the way back to when we get lost in the past or in the future. And here, honor yourself for who you are, just as you are, just as you were intended to be. We honor each other in the same way. We honor all people and all the creatures of the earth. We honor this earth and feel gratitude for the many gifts that we enjoy in abundance every day. We feel our connection to each other, to all people, to all beings, to all things on earth. And let's share our voices in the sound of our practice, in the sound of Om, taking a deep breath together. May peace, joy, love, compassion, and gratitude fill your heart today and every day to overflowing. Namaste. And thank you, one and all, for being here, for starting our day off in a good way. Loving others is easy when I love and accept myself. My heart is open. I allow my love to flow freely. I love myself. I love others, and others love me. Whoa, can't get much better than that one.
Nope.
All right. Thank you all and have a wonderful Thursday. I will be here Saturday, but not Monday.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Have a good
Bye.
Memorial weekend.
Thank you.